Welcome to Tech and Toast. We're just about to get started. Nice to see you all. We've got a few stragglers, but no doubt that will change over the next minute or so. Anyway, thanks very much for giving up an hour of your Friday morning to join us for what is going to be a very interesting hour, I think. So yeah, welcome back everyone. It's been a few weeks since we paused for Easter. This is now officially the start of the spring summer season of Tech and Toast, and we have got lots more Tech and Toast coming up every fortnight from now on. When we get towards the end of this session, I will be asking people for their views actually on sort of format as we kind of come out of formal lockdown and restrictions start to lift as to how people would like to see these things happening in terms of sort of Zoom or hybrid or face-to-face, but we'll come on to that a little bit later. We have, as usual, got more to cover in an hour than we probably have time for, so let us be brisk and let me first of all welcome from our generous and kind sponsors, Jefferson Frank, Toby Drake, and Chanel Carrier, and various others from JFI. Welcome. Hi, everybody. Good to see you, Toby. You're looking very slick after your post lockdown haircut, I must say.
Yeah, it was well overdue. I feel like a new man for sure.
Oh, well, I haven't got that far yet. I have had my COVID jab this week, which wasn't terribly pleasant actually afterwards. But anyway, I won't dwell on that. And welcome also to Chloe Warren from Amazon Web Services. Hello, Chloe.
Everyone.
So Chloe's our guest speaker today, and we'll go over to Chloe very shortly. Anyway, it's nice to see everybody. Good to see lots of familiar faces. I can see Chris and Frank and Kelly and Simon, Paul, Neil, James. James looking also post-lockdown trimmed. John, Chris, Bob, many others. Hi, everybody. So, right, enough of the small talk. Let's get down to business. And I'm going to hand over, as ever, to the excellent Toby Drake from Jefferson Frank to guide us through this next part of Tech and Toast. Toby.
Brilliant. I'm just going to share my screen. So if you could just, give me the nod when it's working.
Yes.
There we go. Brilliant. Cool. So yeah, and Bridget for organising. It's great to be back for another series. Really excited as always about everything that's to come in the series. In particular, I think as a brand, as a company, I think we're particularly excited about this one. We've worked hard to sort of build a good relationship with AWS and in particular Chloe and what she's doing for the region. So yeah, really excited about that. Of you may have sort of already seen me and certainly some of the slides we're going to go over. I'm one of the recruitment consultants at Jefferson Frank, primarily focusing within the contract market, particularly around the east of England. And I'm joined by my colleague Chanel today. He's going to take the reins for a few minutes and just give a bit more of an introduction to us as a company.
Thanks, Toby. As always, thank you very much for the hospitality, Tim and Bridget. And as Toby said, we're very excited to be here and looking forward to Chloe's chat later as well. So yeah, I want to whip through this just to give you guys a bit of an introduction into us and what we do as a business. Most of you will have heard the little bit of an intro, but there's a bit about the wider business as well, just to give you some context on what we do within the AWS ecosystem as a whole. So for those of you who don't know, Jefferson Frank is actually the world's largest dedicated AWS staffing company. We're also an AWS Advanced Technology Partner, as well as being part of a number of their programs like Activate for startups. We started in 2018 to address the anticipated demand for AWS professionals. And of course, that demand's only grown massively alongside AWS and their phenomenal growth and their platform over the last few years. Since we started up in this area, we've actually placed over 2,000 AWS professionals globally, and our business is now over 300 purely dedicated specialists looking at AWS staffing around the globe. We're very much dedicated to AWS recruitment, and that doesn't matter what size of a business you are, we can help, right? So we work with SMEs, startups, all the way up to enterprise customers, ISVs, partners, everything from single hire, whether it's permanent or contract, all the way to building a team and really looking at things long term. We align ourselves with similar principles to AWS. Essentially, customer obsession is the heart of everything that we do, and we really do try and tailor everything to your needs in the market. Next slide, please, Tobes. Our business is actually part of the 10th Revolution group. So today I wanted to give you a bit of an understanding on what we do as part of the ecosystem as a whole, right? So the 10th Revolution group has the talent placement arm, which is our recruitment arm, which you've just heard about, but it also has what I'd like to call a talent creation arm, right? And that leads me on to Revolut. In a talent short ecosystem, like most niche tech environments, right? Unfortunately, just being able to source and assign talent isn't always enough. And we want to work alongside and with AWS, as well as all of the other people within this ecosystem to help and address that problem, right? So the bottom line is there simply isn't sufficient cloud talent in the market to meet the demand that's out there. With our talent creation arm, Revolut, we're really working to bridge that skills gap. Okay, so we'll recruit, train, place, develop talent for the cloud ecosystem, essentially fueling that market with the next generation of certified professionals. We've got a number of programs to bring people back into technology if they've left and want to retrain, but essentially we're looking for ambitious people with a background in IT. We cross-train them. It's an intensive program suited to their skill set. We're ensuring that they're fully qualified to work in their chosen platform. Obviously, AWS is Jefferson Frank's focus. And once they're up to speed, they're ready to hire a very cost-effective solution to anyone's cloud staffing challenges. Okay. Bit about Revolut there. Next slide, please, Tobes. Wanted to use this particular opportunity to give you, I guess, a bit of a case study, right? So a few years ago, we were introduced to a company called Rebura by AWS. And like I said, I want to use this as a bit of a case study. Rebura is actually one of the UK's fastest growing AWS advanced consulting partners. Like Jefferson Frank, they are purely focused on AWS, and they've won numerous awards over the last year to 2 years, and are very well regarded. I'd like to think just like we are within the AWS ecosystem and within the community. Reason I wanted to bring them up today is because as I mentioned, we were introduced to Rebura by AWS a couple of years back, and we have worked closely with them to do exactly what I described earlier. Right, we've helped them build a team internally to support their growth and the increased demand that they've had, and then their ability to support AWS customers. But we've also been able to help them with the fluctuating scalability of demand on shorter projects as well. All right, so they've grown massively as a business, which we've helped them to do. We've acted as a partner for them to do that, but then also with projects, whether that's 1 month, 3 months, 2 years, they're still, defined project work. We're able to give them quick access to really highly skilled staff that we work with to make sure that their clients and AWS's customers have exactly what they need to do their projects. Okay. So yeah, like whether you're a partner, a startup company, an SME, which is obviously the focus of today, we're here to help, and I'm pretty sure we'll be able to tailor our packages and our solutions for you. I think I'd like to hand back over to Tobes to move into a little bit more about our market report.
Brilliant, thanks, Sunil. So yeah, so just in terms of kind of next steps and that side of things, really. So we do produce we call it a salary survey, but it's very much a market report. It's an in-depth dive and look into the ecosystem. It's another tool that we try to give out to all our clients and really hopefully help with that. QR code obviously on the screen. I have posted the links in the chat as well, but it's invaluable in terms of if you're working in this space, understanding as I say, the market trends and what's happening. It's a great tool to start with. And then in terms of kind of actions and points, so as we said, that there is, and just drawing on a point that Sunil made earlier, there is a huge demand that this area is only getting bigger, and we are really there to help support that. If there's anything that you need, then please do get in touch. Now is really the time to be doing this. It's definitely a buyer's market, certainly within the contractor market. There's been a lot of turbulence, but we're finding that the market is booming now. If you're not moving forward, your competitors surely are. Yeah, thanks a lot for your time. Contact details there again. I have posted in the chat as well. And that's it from us. We're going to stick around, so please do ask any questions or as I say, get in touch. But now on to the main event, really. So yeah, great honour and pleasure to introduce Chloe. And I've worked quite closely with Chloe for a while now. She was actually the sort of first point of call that introduced us to Tech East and the start of this. So yeah, really excited to hear more from her. And without further ado, over to you.
Thanks, Toby. Hi, everyone. Lovely to see so many faces. Feel free to come on camera if you can, because I'm not sharing any slides. So it will just be all of our faces on the screen. And I've got the chat window open in case you want to post any questions and not come off mute. But yeah, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. I've been working so closely with Tim for about 6 months now, but really over the last couple of months in bringing a new programme to the East of England. And today we just want to tell you about it because it's launching next week. See if you have any questions about it, and we would absolutely love to see as many of you there as possible. So Tim, do you want me to sort of introduce the programme before we jump into any questions?
Yeah, I think if you could just give a kind of basic, you know, a little bit about the programme and the kind of background to it. Obviously, there's loads of stuff now out in the public domain. But I'm sure everyone would love to hear from the horse's mouth, and that's not intended as a no, that is not intended as anything.
Don't worry.
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess as an introduction to anyone that I might not have met or spoken to, I am the territory manager for the East of England at AWS. So I work around the areas of Cambridge, Ipswich, Norwich, and Essex, and really focusing on building out our community, supporting brand new customers to the platform, and making sure we're supporting with any migrations, any new projects, any innovations, and connecting the right people at the right time. So I work very closely with our partner network. Obviously, Toby and Jefferson Frank are here today, and they also mentioned Rabura, which I'll jump onto later. But we have thousands of partners in our ecosystem. And we work very closely just to bring all the right people together and support our customers. So something that I'm very passionate about and I speak about a lot in events that we have around the world at AWS is something called Amazon's culture of innovation. So it talks wider than just AWS. It talks about our roots from Amazon.com, being a bookstore and innovating beyond just being an online bookstore. How we've gone into manufacturing, how we've gone into cloud compute with AWS, how we've gone into grocery with Fresh, personalization with machine learning and things like that. So through the years of the development of Amazon, we've put together our mechanisms of how we've done it, and we like to share that with our customers so that our customers can take, you know, best bits that they find intriguing or bits that they think will support themselves in their own businesses and their own customers, and take that and innovate further. So we have a digital innovation program but it's primarily aimed at enterprise customers, meaning global enterprises, because it's a huge hands-on development program, and it takes around 6 to 8 weeks. And so our digital innovation team can only really do 15 of these engagements a year. So we only really get to really dive into this topic with 15 very special customers, sort of at a global level in AWS. And over Christmas, I was working with our digital innovation lead, and I said, look, I would love to work with you and develop this program into something suitable for small and medium businesses, because that's my area of expertise. That's the type of customer that I love to work with. And the amount of innovation coming out of small and medium businesses is phenomenal. And I don't think that we're doing enough at the moment to support that. So what we've done is we have adapted the digital innovation program that was for global enterprises, and we have adapted it for small and medium businesses. And me being me, was like, we'll trial it in the east of England. I've got the most brilliant community group that will help with Tech East, and we'll see what works, get some feedback before we scale it out to the whole of the UK in the second half of this year. So we have the absolute pleasure to launch this program next Thursday on the 29th of April, focused on the east of England, and Tech East being our collaboration partner for this launch. And essentially it's broken into a 2-week program. So the first week, starting on Thursday, is all around the art of the possible, and it's essentially like an online conference webinar style. So there's going to be things from our culture of innovation, which is our kickoff event, and that's the only event that we're asking everyone to attend. That's sort of the mandatory kickoff session. It's 1 hour, and it will introduce the program and share our culture of innovation. And then there's roughly 9 other sort of webinars from guest speakers around AWS and also Rabura, one of our partners, around totally different topics, from like technology specifics. We've got machine learning and the Internet of Things topics. We've got how to hire and develop a world-class cloud team. We've got how to unblock digital innovation for small and medium businesses. We've got an introduction to AWS for people that maybe haven't heard about AWS before or haven't tried AWS before. So a bit of an introduction to cloud compute and what that means. But on top of this, we've also got fireside chats with customers that we already work with. So we've got 3 customers that have done some fireside chats for us. One of them is actually Made Purple, which is based in the east of England, and works with our Ministry of Justice to support inmates basically video calling their loved ones through COVID who weren't allowed to have in-person meetings through COVID anymore. So that's a really interesting story. And then we also have a fireside chat from 2 of our ISV partners, so software as a service providers on our AWS marketplace. So there's a lot of different pieces of information that you can drop in and out of in the week. And something to stress is that it's a jam-packed agenda, but we're not expecting everyone to join every session. We've made it so varied so that you can choose a couple of sessions that are of interest to you, and everything will be on demand after, but only for the people that have registered. So it's not going to be a public page with all of the content and resources. It's only going to be available to those that register. So it's quite a special program. I don't know, towards the end of this, we can share the registration link for anyone in this group that is interested to join and maybe hasn't seen the registration page yet. But that's the first week. And then the second week, anyone who has attended at least one event in the first week will get an exclusive application and invitation to our second week. So you have to have gone through the first week to get to the second week. And the second week is the hands-on part. And unfortunately, we can only take 25 customers through the second week, just because of resources, and it's so much more hands-on. So you would have to put in, it's very simple application, it's just 4 boxes, but essentially, what is your customer challenge and what do you want to innovate with AWS? How can we help you? And we'll work with 25 customers through the second week. And this is where our digital innovation lead of the UK, which is Rob Hodges, he's going to be owning that second week and taking you through a program that he takes global enterprises through in 6 to 8 weeks. And at the end of it, you will have a PR FAQ that you have written about your innovation, your customer challenge. And then we have 3 of our partners that are going to select 2 to 3 different customers and work with them on a prototype on AWS. And yeah, basically sponsor that MVP for a small amount. But any customer that interacts with us in that second week, I will be supporting and following up and see how we can help you further regardless. So yeah, it's a really exciting program. I hope I've done it justice in explaining, but it's around digital innovation. It's focused on small and medium businesses and in the east of England. So I would absolutely love to see as many of you there as possible, even if it's just for that first week.
That's brilliant. That's a brilliant explainer, Chloe. I actually understand the program now, which helps.
That's good.
Yeah. No. So just to recap, basically, next Thursday is the first day of week 1.
Yep.
And we're strongly encouraging people to attend the first session as a minimum requirement, just to understand what the program's all about.
Yeah.
And the link to the registration page we will put in the chat in a minute. And then you can dip in and out of that first week's learning. But I think the important thing to say about that first week's learning is it is a way into understanding kind of what else is to come, kind of how Amazon does innovation, how it thinks about breaking it down. I mean, I know you're biased, but I'm not, and I can say, I think, for a small business looking to learn how to innovate with digital, you could do a lot worse than listening to what Amazon have to say about it. And as you say, the program is kind of adapted and, well, made bespoke for SMEs, but it is adapted from an existing program that's been very, very successful around the world. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't know what sort of customers have you engaged with through the Global Innovation Program, Chloe, in the past? What sort of names, brands?
Yes, one that most people will be aware of is the British Board of Film Classification. So the company in the UK that do all of the ratings on films, where it says PG 12, 15, 18. So they're the company that do all of that in the UK. And they went through the Digital Innovation Program, I want to say towards the end of last year, with Rob Hodges, who will be leading the second week, and you'll meet him in the first week as well. And they're actually one of our fireside chat recordings. So we recorded their fireside chat this week, and they speak about their experience and how it's helped them rethink innovation, because they speak about the fact that innovating can be quite an overwhelming word. You think that innovating, you have to, completely change something or bring something that's, like Apple or something that's just beyond anything we've ever expected. But actually innovating to us just means improving your customer's experience. So we really challenge you through this program. Rather than thinking about solutions, we always work backwards from customers. So through this program, we will challenge you to think about your customer challenges, maybe trends, maybe feedback that you receive, trends in the market, anything. And you work backwards from those challenges to then think of a solution. So that's how we will work through this digital innovation program. And I don't know which of the customers that have gone through this that I'm publicly allowed to say, so I'm just going to hold back. But I know British Board of Film Classification is happy to, because they're on the fireside chat next week.
No, that's a really good example, because clearly the British Board of Film Classification is not a traditional tech business. It's not like a big FMCG or automotive outfit. It's not possibly the kind of typical customer that one might associate with digital innovation. But as we've all learned very much over the last year, this the acceleration around digital has been absolutely key for businesses just to stay alive.
And it's quite funny you say that, because when they were going through the program, they were very open and honest and said that it's only because of how the industry has changed over the last couple of years that they've had to realize that they need to change. Because it used to be, in the film industry, it would be the classic filmmakers, and you'd spend years and years on making a film, and it was very sustainable for one of their employees to watch the film from beginning to end, make all the notes they need to, and then put a classification or a rating, an age rating on that film. But now the film industry is becoming a lot more popular with short filmmakers, independent filmmakers. Anyone can pick up a camera and make a film now. The technology to make a film isn't as expensive as it used to be. So it's a lot more accessible to a lot more creative people. And they simply don't have the manpower, the resource in people to watch every single film that needs to be rated. So they're going through a digital innovation transformation to see how they can use machine learning to support their people, their employees that will do the ratings in the film. So yeah, it's totally bang on what you just said.
Okay, so sort of thinking forward for companies that kind of come along to week one, they're going to get a bunch of insight around technology, the innovation process, the sort of the people side of this, presumably, all of that. But then the second week, which is the real, which I think is a really big opportunity for any business, however small, that basically has a really great idea but doesn't quite know how to approach it. And it maybe has got some appetite to innovate and some energy to innovate, but doesn't necessarily know how to go about it.
Yes.
I mean, by the end of that, if you're successful to be one of the 25 and then one of the sort of selected things, you are actually going to get your minimum viable product built out. Which is pretty cool, right? To contrast that with a lot of other innovation programs or business support programs that are knocking about at the moment. Some of them are very, very good, and some of them, but
there's a lot out there.
You might get a bit of advice, and you might get a bit of signposting to a local tech company that might help you build it or whatever, and that's all great. But this is actually taking it like 2 or 3 steps further than that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think what's interesting, also I've just seen a question saying, when does the registration period close? It will be open until the 29th. So anyone that signs up before the 29th will have access to all of the resources on demand after that stage as well, even if they don't attend all of the sessions they want to in that week.
So just on that, I think what we're saying, Chloe, to the Tech and Toast tribe who are here this morning, is if you might be interested for your business, and even if you're actually a tech business but maybe a startup or whatever, there could be some great learning here. If you're a tech business and you've got customers who are, maybe you're having conversations with them about innovation, and this is a way that you can potentially support them into a further discussion, especially obviously if you're in the AWS world, it probably helps, but even if you're not. And then for anyone here who's either managing a network or an innovation center, like Neil, or is engaging with SMEs all the time, like James and Chris and so on, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's to no cost to you. So that was very important for me to get across to our digital innovation team, because again, I just want to ensure that these resources are available to small and medium businesses. So this is at no cost to any business that attends either in the first week or the second week. So I just want to make that clear. I just hope that the resources and the content, you know, there are things that you will find really fascinating, because we've been recording. So for the on-demand content, everything has to be pre-recorded, but we will be delivering most of the sessions live throughout the week, so we can interact with people watching, answer questions as we go through and things like that. But we've been pre-recording all of the content for the on-demand sessions that will be available to any registration after the event. And yeah, the content has been really fun, even just to record and interact with the stakeholders. And someone that I want to highlight, because I think quite a few of you might know him, on Wednesday, the 5th of May, which is our day 4, we've got a very special person from AWS called Thomas Blood presenting how to create a digital mindset. And he's actually written a book, which is called Reaching Cloud Velocity in AWS. He co-wrote it with Jonathan Allen, and he leads up our digital innovation team for EMEA. And he's absolutely fascinating. He is such an interesting person and has so much experience in the digital innovation space from outside of AWS, but also inside of AWS. And we managed to get him on this program, which we are, you know, so happy with. So yeah, it was just a cheeky plug, because he is very famous within AWS and within the technology industry, and we've just managed to get him to agree to be a part of this program. So yeah, if you were interested in a session to learn about, you know, his opinion and his understanding of creating a digital mindset, that will be a very interesting session.
That's great. I mean, you know, I'm really excited about this on a personal level. I probably haven't told you this, Chloe, but I mean, in a previous life, I used to run sort of digital innovation for one of the world's biggest kind of professional bodies or membership associations, one that happens to have been in the news for all the wrong reasons of late, so I won't dwell on which it was. But I was, as a part of that, I was very lucky in my role to be sort of really doing scouting around digital opportunities. And I was in 2006, I was at the kind of, well, it wasn't the launch event, but it was one of the launch, it was the launch year for Amazon Web Services. And I remember thinking it was such a cool idea, you know, because it was a really new idea at the time. That, and I remember listening to Jeff Bezos in the conference saying, you know, you pay for it by the drink, I think was the term he used. You know, it's a few cents per transaction on S3 or EC2 or whatever. There were only really S3 and EC2 back then.
Yeah.
And now there's like millions and millions of them. And I know Paul Graham, for example's here, and you know, other cloud practitioners who have watched this thing grow into this sort of enormous set of capabilities for small businesses. And I think just understanding that cloud computing isn't just about having your servers somewhere, and isn't just about storage, and isn't just about CPUs and stuff now, but it's all about what you actually do with it is fascinating. So it's taken 15 years from that kind of launch year. Yeah. But you know, personally, I think just to be able to kind of land this with small business community in the East of England is really amazing. And I'm very, very grateful to you and Rob and the rest of the team at AWS for sort of taking a chance on this region. I know we've got obviously some great SMEs and great innovators and stuff, but we really want to make this work. So my appeal to everybody this morning is, you know, let's make sure this isn't just a one-off. And if this does sound interesting and intriguing, please do tell anyone you know who's got a small business, or if your partner, your husband, or your wife, or your or you know, your kids are doing a business, or you've got friends and family who kind of like want to get their heads around digital, and this is a really good launch pad for that.
And I would also say, even anyone in education, I know the marketing of this is designed for businesses, but even just an education piece, if anyone is curious about learning about it, the resources are honestly fantastic. I can tell you that just because I've been a part of all of the recordings this week. So it is going to be very valuable for anyone that wants to learn about innovation, cloud computing, the people side of it. I didn't want it to be all focused on technology, because you can get a lot of that resource at reInvent or our summit in the summer. So we have a lot of sessions around people as well, and how to develop people and support that too. And something actually that I would also like to highlight is we really want to share the success stories that will come out the back of it. So working with our PR team and our PR agencies and media agencies that work with AWS, we've actually got an Amazon Day One blog coming out either today or Monday to just share a little bit more around it. And our lovely Tim is absolutely the person on that interview. So we'll be sharing that in our socials as soon as it's published, but that will be there to take you for a read. But yeah, any customers that come out of it with some really cool stories that they would be happy to share to the public, we would also want to support you with the press of that, writing some blogs, getting it out in some newspapers, and just amplifying your business and your success on that way. So something to keep in mind as going through the program is we want to take this further than just the program.
Thanks, Chloe. Look, I'm going to pause now and just sort of open it up to questions. Has anyone, if anyone wants to just switch their mic on and, or don't raise your hand, this isn't Teams. Just, you know, has anyone got any questions like who's this for? What's the catch? You know, those sorts of questions. Everyone's shaking their heads. You must have explained it super well, Chloe.
Everyone's already signed up, I hope.
Yeah, Neeraj has signed up. He's always game for these things. So well done, Neeraj.
Amazing, thank
Follow
you.
Neeraj's lead.
Okay. No, it does look, you know, quite packed and meaningful for someone, you know, even if it's a layman, you know, not too heavy on technology. But I think the agenda, I saw the agenda, and it does look very interesting, and the way it is packed across the days, and it's not too heavy. So that's the best part. Otherwise, you know, you tend to put people off at times if it is too tech heavy. So I am sure it'll be making a lot of sense. That's why, you know, I've gone and done the registration, and I look forward to the event.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Neeraj.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it sounds great. I'm not a techie person. I advise businesses. So I forwarded it to a couple of people that it might be of interest to. And I really liked what you were saying about actually taking it one step further, and, you know, it becomes a bit more practical, because I think there's a lot, you know, I'm in the consulting sphere, so there's a lot of advice that goes out, and then people are kind of left to just do it on their own, and that's where they falter, you know. And it's hard, you know, it's hard doing it on your own, and I know that from experience. So I really like that you take it a step further, and then hopefully people will, you know, actually get to a point where they can maintain it.
That's brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for the feedback. I think that was something Tim and I were talking about in the early stages, like how can we actually bring value? Because there's a lot of online, on-demand resources and programs at the moment. But yeah, we hope that the two-part sort of stage of it will really bring value to customers and businesses.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, yeah, Chloe, I mean, I think, you know, without going into all the ins and outs of what we originally talked about, I mean, there were quite a few options here, because, you know, if you turn the thing on its head, you know, you could describe it as a competitive, it's almost like a competition to get your product built for free up to a certain level, to you know, with a small amount of, you know, actual sort of paid support. But we didn't really want to position it as a kind of, we wanted to make it a bit broader and more inclusive. And although there is that competitive element, the first bit's completely available to everybody.
Yeah,
absolutely. And like all these things, I mean, if you've got a great idea and you want to put it forward, get registered for the first session or one of the sessions in the first week, and then you know, you will stand a reasonable chance because like all competitions, you know, you don't get thousands of people applying. You maybe get hundreds, and if we've got some places, you know, we can get people onto that week, can't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think oh, I just had a really good point that I thought about. Oh yeah, it's not just for tech businesses. So I just want to stress, it isn't just for technical people. It isn't for just technical businesses. Some of our biggest success stories from the Digital Innovation Programme, that's obviously focused on global enterprises before this, were companies who were not in the tech space and didn't have tech ingrained throughout their sort of customer journey or anything like that, but they were, let's say, digitally determined. Like they had ambition to improve their customers' experience or their customers' journey or their customers' products through digital, and they didn't know where to start. So this is a really cool, I'd say, starting position for anyone who just has a slight interest in improving their own customers' experience through technology and innovation, and we can really help guide that journey through this program and beyond.
And I think the other thing, I'm sorry, Neeraj, go on.
So sorry, I think Neil, please.
Yeah, no, the only question I've got really is, yeah, it sounds really great, and I think you said there was 15 businesses for the kind of second round. What is the ambition for that first week, kind of numbers wise? I'm just kind of working out what the ratio of people getting through to that kind of second week would be.
Yeah, so we're looking to take 25 through the second week, 25 businesses, and there'll be multiple people within the team, if that makes sense, of each one of those. And we're looking around 200 to 300 East of England customers to go through that first week. And we're on track with registration, so it looks like we will be around that number. So the conversion isn't that scary.
No, that's good. That's good. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, the question I had, Chloe, was that it's good to talk about opportunity, but can you also throw some light on some of the challenges that smaller businesses would face in adoption of you know, cloud or innovative technology, and how can they be overcome? You know, the generic challenges that you come across in your experience, and if you can throw some light on those.
Yeah, so we've actually got a session on Wednesday again, 10 a.m. till 11 a.m., which is called How to Deliver Your AWS Project. And it's actually completely owned and delivered by Ribera, which is the partner that Toby spoke about. And it's, I think Jefferson Frank actually pulled into it because Sam was a part of that delivery of the presentation to Toby. But essentially that talks about challenges that small and medium businesses face. And it is generally around the people side and the skill. So not knowing where to start, first of all. If you've never delivered a digital project before, or you've never gone through a cloud migration or something like that, the biggest challenge is, where do I start? There's so many places you could start. So we at AWS can't preach enough about our fabulous partner network, and we love to link our customers up with the right partner for them based on, you know, their need. So whether it be industry, whether it be project, size, what they want to do in the technology space, and that can be a one-on-one partnership on how to get through your next steps. The second biggest challenge we face is around skill. And this is obviously what Jefferson Frank were talking about earlier today. So whether you have people that are already skilled up to be able to do this, or whether you want to hire someone, or whether you want to partner with someone to support your business to do this, that's probably the second biggest challenge. But like I said, we have Jefferson Frank if you ever wanted to look at the upskilling or the recruiting side. We have Ribera and other partners if you want to partner with a technology or consulting partner to support the project. And they're the two biggest challenges, to be honest, and they're the biggest trends that we see in small and medium businesses over the last 18 months. But the session on Wednesday, the 5th of May at 10 a.m. will go a lot more into detail around specific challenges and ideas on how to overcome it.
Yeah, so there is one challenge possibly, that is also quite important for small businesses on managing the cost spend.
Yeah.
So that is where, because it is important for customers to know how much they are going to be having to shell out, and what are the different plans or scenarios and all those things. So cost is also a major challenge, what at least I've seen.
Yeah.
And so I am sure there will be some information shared on that aspect during the event.
Yep. So cost optimization, what a lot of customers love about AWS and cloud computing in general is that it's pay as you go. So you don't have to commit upfront to huge contracts. You don't have to commit to anything. You can turn your account off as and when you need to. So with this pay as you go model, you only pay for what you use, which helps massively with the cost piece. And it allows you to play, build MVPs, POCs, whatever you like to call it, without a huge overhead. But then as you start to scale, and as obviously your consumption starts to grow, we have a lot of mechanisms around cost optimization, which is very important. And one of our probably most popular ones is called a well-architected review. Again, it's something that a lot of our partners support us on, but also our solution architects directly do this for customers. Again, it's a free engagement where either one of our partners or our solution architects will go through your estate in AWS, and it goes through our sort of 5 main pillars, but one of those pillars is cost and cost optimization. And we actually share with you how to spend less on what you're already doing. So we're not afraid and we're not shy of talking about cost optimization. It's very, very important to us. And something that might be interesting to anyone joining the program is every day we have drop-in sessions around different themes. So if you have any particular questions that you specifically want to get answered, we have both business and technical stakeholders on all of our drop-in sessions each day. And you can just drop in, drop out, ask your questions to the people that might interest you and leave. So hopefully if you have any of those type questions around specific projects that maybe you don't want to share in a group scenario, just drop into one of the drop-in sessions and get a little bit more information on it.
I'd just like to, that's great, Chloe. And I think that will definitely come out, and hopefully that answers Neeraj's question about cost. Clearly that is a consideration. And the pay as you go, business models, obviously, probably well understood, but it's still worth emphasizing that. Just 2 things I want to kind of bring out and bring in people from the team here. Neil Griffin from the Innovation Centre at Knowledge Gateway here in Colchester at the University of Essex, or on the campus, Neil's on the call. And Neil, I know that down at Innovation Centre at Knowledge Gateway, you have got an agreement for businesses that are part of your centre. Can you just explain how that works around AWS?
Yeah, we have. I see Kelly Boos is on the call as well. So the Epicenter will have the same thing, because we work for Oxford Innovation, and Oxford Innovation are a AWS partner. So we are an Amazon partner with the Activate program. So people that are associated with both the Innovation Centre in Colchester and the Epicenter get access to $10,000 worth of AWS credits over the 2 years, and $1,500 of the business support as well with that. So yeah, a really good way for startups to kind of scale up using kind of cloud computing and CRM systems, all that stuff. So yeah, we've pushed it out, but I'm gonna I just had a quick chat with Chloe. I'll put it on the website as well. It has gone into our newsletter and other things. So yeah, I'll push it out over social media as well over the next few days.
So yeah, just a little bit of joining of the dots there. Come on the program, get engaged with Epicenter or Knowledge Innovation Centre at Knowledge Gateway, or other leading hubs in the region, and you might be able to get a contribution towards the to costs going in the longer term. The other thing I want to do is I want to just bring in Frank. Sorry to blindside you on this, Frank, but I know that you're not scared to say a few words. We've been talking about skills. Frank is the leader of a program called the Scions Coalition Scheme, or one of the leads on the program called Scions Coalition Scheme, which is a very, very cool skills program running out of Norfolk, running out of Net Matters, but now across the region. Frank, do you want to just say a couple of words about skills? Because this question about, there's a talent shortage. You're well aware of that. What are you doing about this, Frank?
Well, thanks, Tom. Yeah, I wasn't planning on actually speaking, but I mean, I'll give it a go. Well, a few years ago, we found it near enough impossible to recruit decent technical people. From the recruitment standpoint, unlike obviously Jefferson, Frank and their team, they specialize in a specific area of a business or of tech. We've been fortunate enough to birth a training program that is actually delivered in real time. So there's a massive skills shortage in tech throughout the UK. We've done a bit of an exercise a few months ago, and we found that for the junior developer role, there's about 17,000 open vacancies. Now, we're scratching our heads to find out where on earth are we going to get this technical resource in order to bridge the skills gap. And for a lot of tech firms, especially, it's the number one stint in their actual growth. Technical people we consider to be fee earners, similar to a law firm of lawyers or solicitors. We charge for our guys' time. So our training program has allowed people to work autonomously. During COVID, what was 100% office-based has now gone to 100% remote-based. It's working phenomenally well, Tim, as you are aware, sir, and thank you for your contributions and everything that you guys have done for us. I also do feel that within this group, within Tech and Toast, with Chloe, with Tobias and the rest of the team and everything that we do, I think we're onto a winner in a sense that this is an actual solution to assist us in bridging the skills gap in tech. There's been a lot of stuff in the media lately, or recently at least, of the amount of or the skills shortage that we're actually on our way towards. So by 2024, I think it was something like 10,000 technical jobs in the east of England, Norfolk and Suffolk, or something along those lines. But I mean, at this current moment in time, the reason why it started is because we had recruiters used to come to us and provide us with a potential web developer or a potential IT technician who may have finished a college course or uni, but the piece of paper, the diploma, the degree that they had is on a technology that we never use or hardly ever use or is dilapidated and old. So the reason we deliver the course in real time is for that exact reason, because I personally, and this is my opinion, I feel there's a massive gap, to say the least, between academia and commercial or business. So what they're teaching in schools, colleges, unis, etc., is really rigid, is really formatted and structured, but it's not. When the students leave there and graduate, more often than not, you find that what they've graduated in, firms don't necessarily use. So where I am currently at this moment in time, I'm looking to organizations across the UK, because the fact that we've now gone to 100% remotely, we're working alongside the Department of Work and Pensions and local job centers in giving unemployed people the opportunity or springboard to a career in tech. I'm now looking for collaborators. There's no recruitment fees or anything along those lines, just companies to come on board with us and advise us in terms of what they are actually using, what coding languages, what platforms, so we can then ensure the people that we're training, because we've now moved into Cambridge, Essex, we've gone to Greater Manchester, we're in BBO, so Berkshire, Buckinghamshire, Oxfordshire, and various other organizations in terms of the job center pluses or the DWP in those regions, and just looking for companies to come on board to advise us, to stand alongside us, to ensure that when our students reach the end of their course and graduate, they are ready to hit the track running with the relevant technologies for organizations within those areas. Because it's one thing, us obviously having a bucket load of trainees, but if I'm not going to be able to go back to Cambridge and say, of the 10 people we've trained, here you go, they are ready to take on the work that you guys have to offer. So many things are being now offered remotely. So you can be working in Cambridge and work for a Norwich firm, but again, doesn't actually do anything to bridge that gap.
That's brilliant, Frank. I mean, I think just again, a bit like innovation programs, there's also lots of skills programs out there. But the Scions Coalition Scheme is fantastic, and Frank and James and others at Net Matters have worked very, very hard to make it kind of real. It works, it's a proven thing, and what I really love about it is that it is like a homegrown program that came out of the needs of a tech company and has been built around actually working on projects and learning with peers. And it's not just a sort of a boot camp that's been helicoptered in from a national or an international provider. It's very, very good. So if you are facing a skills challenge and you want to join the Science Coalition scheme as a business, you can become a sponsor and you can work with them. I've put a link in the description box in the chat. But thanks, Frank, for
Thank you, Sam. No, my absolute pleasure. And looking forward, I will be signing up for the AWS.
Yeah, it's great. And I think, you know, and just to draw that theme to a conclusion, it's a bit like, you know, on the innovation side, you know, this program is complementary to, I think, to lots of other things that are running. So Science is complementary to all the other skills initiatives and to the recruitment, you know, the kind of recruitment consultancy model and to other models, apprenticeships and God knows what. And then, you know, the AWS program is complementary to all the work that everyone else is doing. So this is not about, if you do that, you can't also do
this 100%.
Because the skills gap is too big and the innovation gap is too big to be able to just have one single silver bullet solution. Right. Chloe, is there anything else that you wanted to kind of land before we kind of close this part of the session?
No, I just hope I can see as many of you there. And feel free to connect on LinkedIn to stay updated. I'll be sharing some more social posts over the next sort of week. And yeah, thank you so much for listening to me. I hope it wasn't too tiresome and I hope you all have a lovely weekend.
It was terrific, Chloe, and thank you for giving up an hour of your very busy schedule. And again, thanks to you and the team for bringing this opportunity to the region, which we are very proud to be the collaboration partner on. So that's the end of the guest slot, and there's a few things just to say before we end. Now, I did say in the preamble that I was going to be asking for sort of just people's views on whether they would like to be doing these events, kind of continue to do them all on Zoom, whether some sort of blend of Zoom and face-to-face is preferable, or whether we want to go into more of a sort of you know, face-to-face, regular face-to-face ones. Please could you put in the chat, and Laura's been brave and said face-to-face, please. If, you know, over the next couple of minutes, if you would put in either F2F, Zoom, or hybrid, I would be most grateful, because this is a live question and people have different preferences for these things. I know some of us are raring to get back to face-to-face, others are a little more anxious or perhaps just don't think it's appropriate. Obviously, we all have to think about these things. So fire away. I'm seeing a lot of F2F. I think this is a sociable crowd. We are people. Good. That's very helpful. And Toby and Bridget and the production team, Tech and Toast production team, will work hard to work with your preferences as we plan out the next season. So very quickly, a few things to plug. So firstly, you know, well, AWS, the registration link is in the chat and you can find it on the Techies website as well. Fortnight's time, we're going to be back with Tech and Toast 36, which is startup stories, and we have some cool startups. And I think Bridget's going to put if she hasn't already done so, is going to put here we go, a Predicare, Superpass, nice, acquisition agency. So we've got 3 startup stories. That's always a popular type of Tech and Toast. In 2 weeks' time, sign up now if you haven't done already, and tell your friends. Quick shout out for Upside saving, often of this parish. We've heard from Andrew Smith before. Upside have been shortlisted for the Europas. Now, the Europas is the biggie. It's probably the most credible tech awards in the UK and Europe. It was set up in 2009, I think, by Mike Butcher from TechCrunch. It's pretty high profile. If you want to vote for Upside, And also there's another East of England business, Colorifics, which is a sort of a manufacturing business up in Norwich. They're also shortlisted for Europa's colour technology business. I think there may even be a UEA spin out. Do vote, please, for Upside and help put the region on the map. And then there's a whole stack of events. I'm just going to finish this off because it's 10:30 and I don't like keeping you beyond 10:30. There is a whole stack of good stuff coming up, more of which I'll be talking about probably in a fortnight's time. But we've got a workshop with DIT France, so the Department for International Trades, French tech team doing a how to export to the French market if you're a tech business event coming up in May. We also have a fantastic half-day event which Tech East and UEA are doing on digital challenges in the healthcare and the clinical market, working with Dr. Dennis Pack from the medical school at UEA, who's a practicing doctor and who understands these things. And we've got Rainbird and Engage Health and various other people coming along to that, Orbital Media, Orbital Global. So that's going to be pretty good. Keep an eye on the events calendar. And thanks for sharing this morning with us. Just remains for me to say again, thank you to Toby and Chanel from JFI, Chloe from AWS, you were brilliant. And all of you, especially those who've been brave and spoken up, Frank and Neil and others, and to everyone for participating. I hope you have a very good rest of Friday, great weekend. Things are looking up and we'll see you in a fortnight's time. If not before, yes, we will see you before next week at AWS. All the best, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.